Hello, people. Welcome back to the RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you all are doing well. Well, it's been 3 to 4 days since I've met you all, and I thought it's time to come back because yes, we had two terrific semifinals in the Euros for sure. And as always, Chelsea talks, never end. So we had to come back with you all. In the meantime, I am happy to just share with you. I have my first jab done. So yes, I'm good for now, and you all please take care as well, especially folks in India and everywhere where still the pandemic is still on, right? And yes, coming back to the topic, well, Euros, fantastic semis that we had. And I thought I'll get in some more people to discuss with you all. And as you might have guessed, I'm still wearing my England jersey. Yes, that means that England are in the finals for the very first time since I think 55 years in a major tournament. Wow, that's some achievement, right? But you cannot discount Italy, who are in a form of a lifetime for them, I believe. So we have to discuss that in detail. And yes, I believe some people have joined in the chat already. So big up to you all. And let me first introduce the panel to you all. So first and foremost, we have On. Hi, On. How are you? Welcome back.
Hello, and thank you for having me back. I'm very happy to be here. I hope everyone watching right now and even later is going to enjoy this, and I just can't wait to get started.
Yes, absolutely. Same here. Always, great fun discussing football with you, especially when it comes to Chelsea and, of course, the international, European teams. And as I call, On is an expert, guys. As always, he knows it all when it comes to European football. So definitely, looking forward to it. But On, firstly, congratulations. Your team, Italy, are in the finals. How do you feel about that?
I'm honestly very happy about it. I mean, going into the tournament, a lot of people had Italy slipping under the radar. Not many people expected them to go this far and play this type of football, good football, for a majority of the Euros. And I'm just very happy that we are in the final. There's just one major hurdle left. But honestly, I'm just really excited to see them play.
Well, I don't want to throw this chat out there, but the fact is that 2012, you remember what happened? We won the Champions League, Chelsea, of course, and Italy, what happened? They lost on penalties in the final. 2021, what happened? Chelsea won the Champions League again. History repeats itself or not, let's see,
Uh,
Fingers crossed for
I'm
you.
going to hope that because Chelsea lost the FA Cup this season, we're going to have a change in history with Italy winning the
Wow.
Euros this time.
Good one. So yeah, that sounds interesting for sure. And let's move forward with the second panel that we have. It's Tom from the Blue Podcast. Hi, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How you doing?
Great. Finally, we come on a stream together on my channel because we've been meeting on other channels and tweeting, left, right, and center. But yes, great to have you. And guys, the Blue Podcast is actually, great channel as well. They've been there for a while, and I believe you guys are now what, 6 people with two Chelsea people, one Liverpool fan, one Man City, and Man United as well, or Arsenal.
Yeah, so 3 shows now. One, me and a City fan. Another one, me, City fan, Arsenal fan, and Liverpool fan. And then another new one, the Golden Show, which is Chelsea and United, not with me in it, which is obviously it's a bit different for me as the main host. But thank you for having me on, mate.
You're welcome, mate. Definitely looking forward to it. And yes, being an English fan, definitely I have to ask you, right? I mean, it was surreal, I'm assuming, but did you really expect England to, pull it off?
Of course, mate. Is the thing that everyone in England's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought our team at the start of the season was a lot better than has been in the past. I do want to also say, I thought after the first 2 Italy games, I thought they could go the distance. I know a lot of teams did write off Italy, but I thought after those first 2 games, they showed their mettle. And obviously, Chelsea bought Jorginho's having the game of his tournament, or whatever the saying is. So it's I'm very nervous for this final, but at the same time, very excited and confident. So
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, mate. So as we mentioned that, let's get in a third panelist. That is Lionel. Lionel, how are you, brother?
Hi, how are you? I'm all good. Thanks so much for having me. This looks like it's going to be fun. So I'm super excited. Yeah.
Great, great. You know what? So Lionel and me have tried. I've been trying to kind of get our time together, but somehow the time difference hasn't worked. And finally, I'm really glad that the time difference has worked for you as well, mate. And you're here, and definitely looking forward to the chat. As much as I know, Lionel, you're not really supporting England and Italy per se, but what is your bias towards?
Yeah, I mean, look, I follow a lot of English people. I have some English friends, so it's tough, you know. It's coming home. I've been hearing that this whole time, and I'm actually getting tired of it. So I think let's go to Rome. Sounds better. Hopefully, I don't know. That's anyway. So, but yeah, I definitely would like Italy to win this one.
Wow, wow. So actually, we are having a tag team game already here. I can see Lionel and On kind of pairing up, and myself and Tom kind of being on England side. But yes, let's try and stay as neutral as possible, because at the end of the day, we have to comment on what really is a fact. But bias will be there, right? Come on, we're all Chelsea fans after all, right? And we know how it is to kind of get to that finals and all that. So let's actually brag when we're able to. But yes, now that all of you are here, let's jump in. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Wow. Still gives me goosebumps, right? Even not being English technically, but yeah, being an England fan. But Tom, I have to start with England. Little bias there, as I believe we may have lost on for a second, but yeah, hopefully he'll be back. But yes, Tom, starting with you, that Damsgaard goal, the first goal that England conceded this tournament, like after a long time, a worldie at that, like that moment must have told you, like, here we bottle it again, right?
Oh, I got up and went straight to the toilet after that goal went in. Just kind of, had to walk out of the room for a second, take a breather. I was like, oh, we've been humbled. But I mean, obviously, I've seen all these England fans saying it wasn't a free kick in the first place. If that's what they're saying, if you're countering the fact that it shouldn't have been a penalty and things like that. But I mean, I was worried when that goal went in, because growing up, all I've seen is England will just fumble it at the death, or against the team that they shouldn't be losing to with the quality of players that we have. But obviously, it was very nice that Denmark decided to score a goal as well in their own net after that. But I like the idea of was it unfair, in the sense that you can't really look at the if, buts, and maybes in a game, because that's completely, no one actually knows what the result would have been if this thing happened. You just got to look at the overall game. And I thought England overall were the better team in the 120 minutes. And Denmark, I think at the end of the game, they looked gassed, completely gassed. But yeah, I was very happy after that game. I had 4 Coronas and all that kind of stuff, as most England fans did.
Yes, absolutely. But Lionel, like watching the game, like were you surprised that Southgate never used the substitutes until I think very late in the game, right? As in, I don't know if he was playing for extra time and playing that negative tactic that one thought that he would, or it was just something that worked in his favor.
No, to be honest, I don't understand why the English fans are so hard on Southgate. I think with the amount of talent and depth that he has in his team, it's understandable that some of those players are not going to get, the time that they need, or to play as many matches as they want. Obviously, every single one in that squad wants to play. As a Chelsea fan, I want to see Reece James in there. I want to see Ben Chilwell. But the reality is that, at this moment, Kyle Walker is played an amazing game against Denmark, right? And just that defense, Maguire, Stones looked amazing during that game. So it's very hard for me to kind of understand why so many people are like, oh, Southgate this, Southgate that. I think any coach would have a problem getting play time for all these superstars that he has in his squad. So yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, and talking about substitutes, Tom, Grealish is like the super sub. Like, I don't know, he's turned into a Henrik Larsson or something like that, right? As in what he was for Manchester United towards the end, like, those 30 minutes and then getting him off, like the tactic worked brilliantly, right? As in, what do you think?
Well, no, yeah, I want to completely agree with Lionel about you can't fault his tactics anymore, can you? He's in the final of the Euros. He's beaten Germany on the route there. He didn't concede a goal to the semi-final. And like you said about Grealish has come on as a substitute apart from one game. No matter who Southgate starts, there will be a superstar on the bench that English fans will not be happy is on the bench. So kind of it's one of those situations where really he's doing the best he can and he's doing a very, very good job of it. So yeah, I'm Southgate in, and I have been kind of since we beat Germany. I was on the fence before, but no, since we beat Germany, definitely. And the Grealish super sub thing is, I mean, it's tactically working, isn't it? I mean, why change what's not broke? He's coming on, he's getting assists, helping with goals in the build-up, and it's fantastic.
Good point. Definitely, agreed there. Like, I like being English biased, I have to agree. I cannot say nobody has Southgate. I think it's more of a redemption for Southgate himself, because missing that penalty in '96, definitely, has stayed with him for over the years. Like, he's not a person who emotes a lot, but knowing what it means for England, I'm sure it's there in his mind, and he was playing for that, in my opinion, and he's really tactically having all those options, of course, with his team being great as well, working together. But I think we've been speaking about England too much, because in the semis there was Denmark as well, and we mentioned Damsgaard. But Lionel, you think Delaney coming off? Like, I know Denmark have been tired playing a lot of football, with the main guys there. But Delaney coming off, I thought was probably like the last nail in the coffin, because it gave a lot of room for English midfielders to go forward. Like, is that something that Denmark probably in hindsight should have not done?
No, because I looked at Delaney at some parts of the game, and you could tell that he was exhausted. I mean, in this Denmark team, I think they gave so much energy to this tournament that by the time, and I said this in one of my videos, that by the time they got to playing England, and I'm not taking away from England's performance, I'm just saying that by the time they got to England, they were dead, they were tired, in parts of that game, you could see that Denmark was trying to make those passes. They had England on the back foot in a few instances where you thought to yourself, like, whoa, these guys are, I even heard Emma Hayes talking, and she was saying that, it's looking a bit like Denmark is kind of, coming out of their shell and something different might happen. So, yeah, you could talk about, some of the players coming off. I think what's his name? Dolberg or Dahlberg? The striker. Yeah. I definitely think that he shouldn't have come off, because Poulsen is just, let's not get into that. But I just think that there's some instances where I can understand why the coach made the decisions that he did, and whether Delaney stayed on or he went off, I think the results would have been the same at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think they were definitely looking leggy, towards that extra time, and that's something. Obviously, our man, Andreas Christensen also had to come off. I believe it was a minor injury as well. So hopefully he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And let me just quickly get in this comment. Southgate has actually done quite well. The truth is, you need to be a bit pragmatic to win the competition. And England has done that. Yes, Chelsea perspective. You're absolutely right. I agree there. A lot of criticism for Southgate, but when it comes to tournament football, he's just got us to the semis of a World Cup and now the finals of the Euros. What more can you ask? Really, not much, considering the history that England have had, and that's how we welcome On back again. On, how are you, mate? Again, all good?
I'm really sorry I had some technical issues. Hopefully it'll be better from now on.
And that's okay. That happens. Warning there as well. It might happen to me, so beware of that. But yes, guys. So we were just talking about the England-Denmark game to begin with. Now the main question, of course, you are an Italian fan yourself. I know that what your take will be, but simple question: was that a penalty or not?
I think you can talk a lot about that penalty, and if you want, you can make an entire stream about it. My opinion, it was pretty soft, but given how England played and they took over the game, whether it was a penalty or not, it doesn't matter. They would have eventually won the game. I think they had a lot of good chances, and after the 60th minute or something in that range, they really took over the game. So whether it's a penalty or not, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. England were the better team and they deserve to win.
Yes, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there, because the fact being that England were so dominant. I believe England got about 20 shots with 10 on target, and that has to be some domination, right? As in they definitely as an up their gear when they needed to, and that's something that we'll have to comment against Southgate and team there, right? Coming back to you, Tom. Again, I know that you will agree as well that definitely that penalty was something that was lucky in England's favor. But how about the earlier penalty call, the one that Harry Kane was appealing for? Do you think that was close, or I thought that was probably closer, if not
Well, that was definitely a penalty, to be honest, and that's why I think everyone's saying that Denmark are wrong because of that decision before, which Kane should have had a penalty for. I mean, I understand that he may have fouled Poulsen, but I personally don't think that was a foul on Poulsen. And I don't think it could be overturned because it wasn't seen as clear and obvious from a VAR standpoint. And then, as you were saying before, the soft penalty, I completely agree with Arne. We were from 60, 65 minutes onwards, all the way to the end of the 120. We were completely dominant and possibly would have got that goal anyway, like I said earlier. So, yeah, it was a penalty, but we got one in the end, which was soft, so I don't mind.
Can I ask something?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Right. I wanted to ask Tom, whoever can answer this, but because I remember watching the game and I kept telling my girlfriend, I was like, if Denmark take this to penalties, they will win this game. Do you believe that Kasper would have done a better job than I keep forgetting his name.
Pickford.
Yeah, than Pickford.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say
in a penalty shootout. That is, sorry.
I'd say Pickford would do better than Schmeichel, but then I'd say we have better penalty takers as well. So it's just kind of that you have to go on a scales. Schmeichel's better, but we've got quite a few penalty takers on the pitch. I didn't want it to go to penalties. I don't like penalties. My heart would have probably stopped pumping blood, or would have pumped too much blood around my body by the end of it. So, yeah, Schmeichel would definitely have been better for penalties. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that. You know what? I think Blue Clouds TV actually put in a comment already, right? Saying that basically there is some amount of luck needed. I think that was the luck that England, probably got, and you never know in penalties. It's literally a lottery, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. Again, the Danish team was really tired, so it's all hindsight. But at the end of the day, England won it, and they probably, over the course of the game deserved it. But yes, Danish people and Danish team will be really, sad that the fact that a wrong decision, was basically the decision maker, which shouldn't have been, especially with two balls being on the pitch and the laser, etc., being on Kasper's face. But Kasper, I think Schmeichel has to be commended, right? he had a fantastic tournament and a great game. So no two ways about it. And I think Denmark can hold their heads together. Yes, Tom, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think also, I forgot to mention, I think most refereeing decisions throughout the entire game, they weren't biased, they were just bad for both teams, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to put that in there.
Yes, for sure, right. On there's a question I think that I got from the chat earlier. I don't have it handy right now, but the question was basically like, I know England switched back to I think 3 at the back or 5 at the back, as you may call, right, towards the end of the game. But Italy, the way they play and they themselves kind of keep it back and kind of counterattack at times. Do you see England playing that way, or do you see England starting like they started the last game?
I do think they're going to stick with the 4-2-3-1. Most of Italy's strength come in from the midfield. So I think they're going to want that 4-2-3-1, maybe sometimes turn it into a 4-3-3, just to have someone on every single player from the Italian midfield. I think a 4 at the back suits this match better.
That's definitely a fair point. But sticking with you on, we've got to speak about the other game. Like, you'll be thinking, like, why are these England fans talking about England only, right? But Italy, like, I have to say, like, the kind of determination that they showed, they were dominated by Spain, like as we saw in that short video, right? And coming back from that, like, like for you on, like, without wearing a Chelsea hat on, please tell me who is your Italian man of the tournament?
Italian man of the tournament. I mean, I'm going to have to put my Chelsea hat on. I can't do anything else. I mean, come on. I'm going to have to say Jorginho. You can call it bias. You can call it whatever you want. But Jorginho, he's played almost every minute. I think he just missed 15 minutes against Wales. Other than that, he's played every single minute. And he's the only person in that Italian midfield that I don't think they have anyone else that can play that role. He's just been so important for them. And I think I have to give it to him.
Yes, I wanted to hear that, to be very honest. But you know what? It's a fact. Like, Jorginho is right up there. Like, guys, again, like every stream, I'm repeating this. Please don't put this guy down, because he deserves a lot of praise. And I know, Lionel, you and me included, both of us were anti-Jorginho for a while. But for me, things have changed. I don't know about you, Lionel. You're still the same?
Yeah, I know it's the same as well.
Oh, wow. Tom. Okay, anyway, I think probably let's see after the season starts for Chelsea, where he is and how he performs, like in the Premier League. But yes, coming back to you, Tom, like, like Italian side, like we have to speak about them because, 33 games unbeaten now, and I think 35 games have not let in more than one goal. And England haven't let in a goal apart from that free kick, right? As in, this is basically a very cagey chess match that we are looking forward to the final, right? So what do you think, Tom, will be the difference maker, like really in terms of, the final game that's coming up?
That's some question. Difference maker. I think the game's will be really cagey. I'm expecting that. Both teams won't want to concede. And obviously the fact that Italy haven't lost in such a long time is a big factor. And then the fact that England haven't conceded in open play or tournaments also a big thing as well. So I think it'll genuinely come down to which team wants it more. Genuinely will just come down to which team has the heart, the fight, just to maybe get the extra yard on their man. Owen talked about the midfield. I agree with him. I think Chelsea was pretty much stick with exactly the same formation and team as they did last game, because I think the way Chelsea, got Chelsea in the brain. England will beat Italy is with that 3 in midfield outworking the Italian midfield, because when you got Rice, Calvin Phillips, and Mount, they will work all the way through to the 90, 120 minutes. And that's, I think, the place where England could beat Italy, because Italy are so, what's the word? Their midfield is so important to them. Jorginho is so important to them. And as Chelsea fans, we can agree with the fact that when Jorginho is put under loads and loads of pressure, he can falter and not be quite at his best. So I think that's kind of that midfield will be where England can nick it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, like both the teams having played extra time and getting that, extra pressure already, I think probably will put them in good stead, come the finals. But this comment from Abhi, I think I'll put it to Lionel. Lionel, like really tough to call. The Azuri had a super group stage performance, but since the knockouts, England have been free flowing, looking deadly. Like this is a fair point. Like, would you say, Lionel, that it's probably a blessing in disguise for Italy, being an Italy fan, probably biased towards Italy, that they got their bad performance out of the way in the semis? Or would you say, like England, like this comment says, are actually getting a better form right now?
No, to be honest, I was a bit suspicious of the Italian performance against Spain. I think that's the only game really where I looked at that Italian team and, for a second thought, oh, this could end very badly for them. I think Spain were just the movements that, how the Spanish were playing, the way Pedri was, controlling that midfield. And unfortunately, Tom, and Ankit, I don't think England have that. I don't think England has that type of artistic football, if you want to call it. I think part of the reason why the Premier League is such an amazing and it's such an amazing league is because of that style of play, that rugged, that straightforward, that, go run through whatever is possible to make it happen. But I just, and I think you need that a bit of flair to be able to beat this Italian side. You need, so that's why I would put forward maybe, Grealish starting, because Grealish can take on a few players. And anyway, that wasn't the question, but anyway, so yeah, I'm looking at this Italian team. I'm looking at, because they're almost mirroring the 2006 team that won the World Cup, which was a bit of a similar thing, where we looked at the Italian team and we're like, I don't really see Italy doing much in this World Cup. And then they came as a team, as a solid unit, and they continued to do that throughout the tournament. And even in the final, when everyone was like, you know what, I think France is going to do it. Zidane is on form. He outplayed a whole Brazilian midfield with Kaká, Ronaldinho, and all these things. And yes, the headbutt incident happened, but at the same time, Italy were not lost in that game until that happened. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Obviously, England can, with the amount of talent that the English team has. No one can deny that. But I just think as a unit, as a solid unit, Italy just have the edge on England.
Can I quickly say something about that? If you are watching Italy, they've become more and more like an Italian side throughout the tournament, if that makes sense. They've become even more defensive as the tournament's grown on, which is a bit worrying as an England fan to see that, because obviously they've won tournaments before. So just wanted to say that.
You're muted.
You're muted, bro.
You're muted.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, so, CFC K2 just agreed there with Lionel. Definitely, they are, getting into that, zone where they are going to defend for their lives. And that's something scary. But, last question on Italy, moving on. But before that, I would like to come to you for Emerson, right? Like, he is probably so-called weak link in the Italian team. But I personally believe he didn't have a bad game. Like, in fact, he could have gotten a goal, and probably as much as Spinazzola brings defensively, Emerson probably brings offensively. And you think probably, that is a surprise weapon for Italy? I don't know, just putting it out there.
I think Italy are definitely going to miss Spinazzola, because Spinazzola offered much more than Emerson going forward, and he also is faster so that he can recover during counterattacks. But Emerson came into that team. At first, I felt that he was a bit shaky, not quite into the game. But then a few minutes later on, he started growing into the game and feeling it better. And he filled in the role as best as possible. I'm not going to say he was world class or anything, but he filled in the role and he did what he needed to do in that game.
Yeah, totally agree there. Like, yes, Lionel, go ahead, please.
Okay. I'm going to say this because we're surrounded by Chelsea fans, and this has been annoying me for a very long time. I do not know what people's issue is with Emerson, right? I think, and you know what, like I've been saying this for a very long time, I think Emerson is world class, but just hasn't been given the opportunity to prove himself, especially at Chelsea. I think, what he brings to this team, his speed, his tenacity, and all of those attributes are almost they're unused, and no coach that has come into Chelsea has favored him, unfortunately. I mean, I thought for a second that that Tuchel was going to come in. We're not talking about Chelsea, but just quickly. But like, I just, and it's just, I don't know why whenever people talk about Emerson in that way, I get so annoyed. But anyway, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. I would not term as world class, again, his opinions, but he has, Lionel has a great point there, because he's not got a run of games, and you cannot expect someone to kind of be world class, every, say, 3 games that he skips or, and plays, right? And that's something that we'll have to commend on Emerson for. But before we end this, section, we have to definitely speak quickly about Spain, because Tom, our captain, Azpilicueta, for all the minutes that he was there on the pitch, Spain did not lose a game. Like, that's something which tells that Azpilicueta still has it in him. Don't you think so?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It's this whole. This reminds me of the thing about moving Reece James into right centre back and getting another right wing back to replace Azpi, because he's getting a bit old. But I feel like that's something to do maybe next season, or even later on in the season at January, because I mean, Azpi, he's a machine when he's on that right side of defence. He just works up, he works, and he works. And I mean, it's shown as the fact that when he was on the pitch, Spain didn't lose a game. So, I think he's not finished yet.
Yeah. So great call there. Definitely, Spain have a future as well with Olmo and a lot of other Pedri, as we mentioned, a lot of guys. But definitely looking forward to the final. We'll come back to the predictions later on. But yes, Bobby here. Bobby, big up. You agree as well with Emerson. Thanks for that. There are a lot of Chelsea fans that I personally know as well, who back Emerson and want him to be our second choice over Alonso. Tom, I think you have, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say something on Emerson. Do you remember that left side, which was under Emerson, Loftus-Cheek, Hazard on that left side of attack, and that was just phenomenal. I mean, Loftus-Cheek, Hazard, and Emerson are amazing on that left side. Brought us all the way to get a European trophy and all that kind of stuff. So I do want to say that in Emerson. I think I think it might be a mentality thing in training, or maybe, as said before, inconsistent performances, which hinders him. But I think on his day, Emerson is very, very good.
Yeah. So let's hope for the best for On and for Lionel, that Emerson, plays his A game, and so does Italy. I have a quick comment before we head to the next section here. Is it safe for an Arsenal fan to be here? Absolutely. We are all loving football here. Like, yeah, Lionel, go ahead.
Sorry, can I just say one thing? Tom, as an English fan, and you, Ankit, of course. I think for me, and I probably might get battered for this, but for me, Saka has been the top player for England this whole tournament. I think a lot because of maybe he didn't score the goals or whatever, but I never, because obviously I don't watch Arsenal matches except when they play against us, but to see him take the ball from deep within his half, turn 2 players and make the runs, and when I saw him come off against was it Denmark, and they put on Grealish, I almost thought to myself, why on earth would you do that? He was England's best player for me personally, and I just, as it's hard for me to say because it hurts my soul that I'm complimenting an Arsenal player, but you just have no choice as to how good he was.
Absolutely. Definitely fair points. So guys, I hope you and you believe that we are all neutral, and while we are Chelsea fans and England and Italy fans respectively, we are here to talk football, and that's why we are all here. So yeah, that takes us to the next section, guys. All set for that?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so and I'm sure like a lot of you all must be knowing, and yes, we are kind of moving towards Chelsea in this section, but we will be talking about a lot of loan systems and as well as just transfers in general, right? As in what works, what does not work. But the recent news for Chelsea is that Olivier Giroud will probably be moving on. And I think it's a 2 million fee that we are talking about. On I know that you love Giroud, absolutely, but now that Giroud is going on, and of course the Haaland talks don't end. Like every day there is some or the other Haaland headlines. Do you genuinely feel that we should talk to Tammy and somehow make what was broken?
First of all, I'm really sad that Giroud is leaving. I understand it, but I just love him as a player. And I'm very happy that he's going to a team that can give him minutes and where he can play. Now, I'm going to talk about Chelsea right now. With Giroud going, I think this is just a sign that Chelsea do intend on signing a striker. I think the contract extension was a contingency, just in case we couldn't sign anyone. But right now, about Tammy Abraham, I don't know what happened with Tuchel, or I don't know what it is. It's just that it's not working out for him with Chelsea. I don't want to be rough on him or something, but let's see how the preseason works out. But I don't see him as a Chelsea player moving forward. I'm not sure what happened in the training ground or what happened for him as a player. Maybe he's not filling in all the boxes that he wants. But I don't think he's going to be a striker. I think we should just sign another player. I don't have to go into details about that. We're hearing about this stuff all day. But we'll have another striker, maybe Havertz, and as a false nine, and Timo Werner can fill in that role, and I think we'll be fine.
Yes, that's a fair point. But again, like the talk of the town, the second news that we hear, Tom, is that we are going to basically bid for Rice the moment the Euros get over, right? As in, we're talking about 60 million. I think that's the fee that has been talked about. Like as we saw in that video, we have, I think, umpteen number of midfielders out there. Like, we already have, I think, Conte, Jorginho after this tournament, of course, and of course, Kovacic there. So, Tom, do you see like Chelsea, in spite of like the 50-60 games that we're expecting, do you see us signing one and maybe getting one person back from loan? Or do you see like, we'll probably just sign one person and that's it?
I think we will. I think Loftus-Cheek is the only loanee coming back that may possibly stay that I've seen so far. I think the rest of them will go back on loan. I think we will sign a midfielder because Billy Gilmore's gone. And have you guys seen the thing that we're trying to hijack the Manchester United's Camavinga deal? And I'm unsure we should do that because obviously we just let Billy Gilmore go, who's 20, Camavinga's 18. Billy Gilmore's played in English football. Camavinga hasn't. I'd much rather get Declan. If we're letting Billy Gilmore go on loan, I'd much rather get Declan Rice in. But then again, Declan Rice will want to play every minute of every game. And obviously, I think Tuchel will rotate a little bit, but he will need four. He needs four midfielders. He does need four midfielders. Even if we're playing two, he needs two subs just in case injuries, someone's not working out in the right position, etc. So I'm happy for Rice. Obviously, everyone's been seeing all the Mount and Rice things where they always seem to be together 24/7 in the England camp and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to get Rice, but I think only Loftus-Cheek could, as a loanee, could be staying in the midfield.
Yeah, but that brings another question, Lionel. Like the system that Chelsea has been playing. Like personally, I don't want Tuchel to change the system because that's something that has worked well, and he can probably take it to the next level. Of course, there should be a level of flexibility. That's what my take is, and that is where a squad comes in, especially with the amount of games you're going to play with the Club World Cup and whatnot, right? So if you actually see and fit the jigsaw puzzle, so as to speak, like Ross Barkley is like the forgotten man. Like I know that he probably did not do well in West Ham the way we expected after his start. And of course, for us, has been start and stop always, right? But injuries has played a part as well, right? We love Loftus-Cheek. Like I, for one, want Loftus-Cheek to be the Paul Pogba of the world. Like I used to tell all my friends that, hey, mark my words, I'll come back to you after 5 years, and Loftus-Cheek is our version of Paul Pogba, if not better. But unfortunately, it's not working out. Like whatever be it, like I know even he's had a lot of injuries, especially major injuries. But I have a debate like Ross Barkley, for the amount of games he's played versus Loftus-Cheek for the amount of games he's played. Ross Barkley's probably done better, Lionel.
Yeah. See, this is such a hard conversation to have, because obviously everyone really loves Loftus-Cheek, and I personally, like, I love the way he is on the ball. He's so charismatic. The way he moves on the field is wonderful. But and I always get into arguments with Chelsea fans about this, because I always think to myself that Chelsea are a team that is part of the European elite, right? And I think a lot of the characteristics for a lot of top European teams is that if you're doing okay, you're not good enough. If you're doing great, then you stay, right? And that's just how I feel that we need to start moving forward with the people that we have on loan. And unfortunately, Loftus-Cheek is one of those players. Watching him at Fulham, it was okay. It wasn't great. Obviously, he is coming back from an injury, which is important to note. But I just don't see how Tuchel can fit him into the system with players like Kovacic, Jorginho, and so on and so forth, that he can play in those positions. And if Rice is coming in, even more of an issue. Now, looking at Ross Barkley, I would take what Ross Barkley did at West Ham over what we saw from Ruben at Fulham. Now, again, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but both players are very injury prone, right? So if I were to bet on one of those players, for me, that would be Barkley, because I just believe that Barkley, it's hard to say, but Barkley is just the better player for me at this point. So
yeah, I think it's form, right? I think it's all about form, right? As in, guys in the chat, I am hoping that all of you agree to that. But all of us included, I'm sure no one will disagree that we want Loftus-Cheek to succeed, and he should be the next big thing at Chelsea. So basically, I think all will agree we'll probably loan out Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah,
I'd say give him pre-season. Give him pre-season.
I agree with Tom there. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just say again? Sorry, Tom. It seems like I'm just like,
it's perfect. I love it.
I don't think preseason is long enough to see what the difference that Loftus-Cheek can make within this Chelsea team, right? At the moment. So the reason why I would pick for him to go on loan immediately is to give him another season, a full season at a let's say a better team that's not struggling as much as Fulham were throughout the season, somewhere where instead of having to be defensive every single game, he can show off his attacking presence, and because you have to also look at the factor that Fulham were in the mud most of the season, so his job in that team was a bit different to what he would be doing at Chelsea and so on. So so that's why I strongly think that I don't see the kind of impact that he can make in Tuchel's eyes to be like, what, I'm gonna bench Kovacic and put this guy in, and that's just how I see that situation.
For me, it's more. I completely agree. Barkley had the better season, but I don't think Barkley fits into either a 2 in the midfield, or we have way too many wingers or what kind of right forwards and left forwards who are way better than Barkley. That's why I'd say Ruben Loftus-Cheek has a better chance of fitting in, because he can fit into a 2 and he can play at striker and he can play as right forward, left forward. That's where I'm saying there. And the reason I say give him pre-season is we all know Ruben Loftus-Cheek he's come out of it many times. He did it under Sarri as well. He will work his arse off basically to prove his point, and he has done that. He's tried that for so long, and obviously, I say maybe not full preseason then. Like the best both worlds between us two, maybe half of preseason.
Yeah.
Let him see maybe if he can prove himself, because obviously when he was under Sarri at the start of the season, he wasn't really involved, and that end of the half when he'd proven himself, coming on a few times, linking up with Hazard quite nicely. That last end of the Sarri season, he was fantastic. And he worked so well. He's powerful, driving up the pitch, which is kind of what Kovacic does as well. So, maybe half a preseason then. Let's be fair.
Right. Yeah. So I'll take your opinion as well quickly, right? Because I think probably like a lot of comments said as well, right? As in the way I think Tuchel plays with a two-man pivot system. That's where probably he sees not, say, Ross Barkley or Loftus-Cheek fitting in, maybe Rice fitting in, and then maybe we have a youngish, maybe a central midfielder as a fifth option. Like if you play many games, right, that is probably a better option on. Or would you again, go for like a Loftus-Cheek, give him time, play that attacking midfield, play three-man midfield? Like, what's your preference?
I think it's a bit tricky going into this talking about them all, because with Loftus-Cheek, as much as I love him and we all know the potential that he has, we've only seen glimpses of it during the Sarri season after the injury. I don't know. I don't think he recovered mentally from all the injuries. I don't know if you agree with me or not with that, but he just feels off. Now, this is where Tuchel comes in, is that he's brought the best out of every player that he has. If anyone can bring the best out of Loftus-Cheek, I think it's Tuchel, which is why I want to see what he thinks of him during preseason, given that it is short, we might not see much of him. But still, moving forward, I think a lot of the times we were linked with even Rice or times Marquinhos earlier on, or even now Ben White. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do like the fact of having a centre-back that can play in midfield, have them start in the middle of the back three, so that when we move forward in transition, have him join the midfield, which if Loftus-Cheek starts in a two-man midfield would give him more freedom to go forward. Other than that, from the loan army, I'd be happy if any of them are given a chance, but I do think a loan would benefit most, if not all, of the players that were out on loan this season.
Yeah, that's my point, right? So Tom, coming to you, what I feel like about this comment from On is like, yes, definitely the systems kind of drive it, as well as what kind of purchases we make this particular summer, right? But let's assume like we go with the system that we played, right? As in that's something that we played for so long. Mount playing there is not an option for me. Like, I know Tuchel thinks that he's probably the fifth option in case of injury, etc. But for me, he's not an option. So my debate there is, why don't we have like Conor Gallagher, someone who can be molded into a number 6, who's still young, and probably he'll be happy with like 10-15 games a season, if I'm not wrong, like, and come on as sub maybe in all the cups, so that will make around 20 games a season, right? Versus like have Mount there and maybe fall into the trap of having Loftus-Cheek. Again, I love Loftus-Cheek, don't get me wrong, and Barkley also scores a lot of goals, but like Lionel said, like we probably are looking to be the best club and winning the EPL, and we need someone who can give that impact and score those goals, which probably Loftus-Cheek and Barkley at this point are not reliable enough.
Yeah, in the sense that I actually think keeping Conor Gallagher this season would be good purely for the fact that he can play deeper in midfield. Like he's basically Mount 2.0. So having a Mount 2.0 could mean we could rest Mount, bring on Conor Gallagher as a sub, no matter where Mount's playing on the pitch, which is good. Whether or not playing Conor Gallagher as a 6, I'm not so sure about, because he is quite an attacking player, which is where we would say then Loftus-Cheek could maybe play as more of a 6. But again, he's 26 at the end of next season, so changing role might be difficult, but we've all known Loftus-Cheek is very versatile. I don't know what other youth players or loanees we have that can play as a 6, but I trust in Tuchel. That's all I'm saying there. I completely trust in Tuchel, and he'll make the right choice, and he'll bring the best out of whoever he picks as well. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm smiling there because I just saw a comment from Bobby, as you guys must have seen. Like, Bobby, just to correct yourself, I have to say that Lionel is a big Chelsea fan. I don't know. I think we are probably too balanced, Lionel. I think that's what I can say. That's a compliment that you're probably wearing the neutral hat, right?
Yeah, maybe. No, I think next time I should come with like, my Chelsea scarf and my and my t-shirt, and just to make sure that I'm a Chelsea fan. No, I mean the reason why I try my best to be as objective as possible, right? It's the I understand that we do want to have this like love for everything that is Chelsea, like Connor, Ruben, and everyone must play because they're Chelsea. But at the end of the day, I am a Chelsea supporter because I want Chelsea to be the best team in the world, right? And how does Chelsea become the best team in the world is by winning and winning and winning and winning. And however that happens, whether it's with Ruben, whether it's with Barkley, whoever the case may be, I'm okay. I'm totally okay with that. But looking at it from an objective perspective always helps me understand things, that someone that may be too passionate and goes with their heart might miss, because it's Chelsea and I love Chelsea, and it's okay, Bobby, no problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Bobby always big up, like, no two ways about it. Definitely, Bobby is one of the most knowledgeable Chelsea fans out there that I know personally, right? Yes, but I have to basically talk about Lewis Baker. Like, I know that a lot of people have forgotten. Like, we've had like a loan army, where I think Turkey is probably the new Vitesse, if I may say so. We've had drink water and who not in Turkey, and I believe Lewis Baker had surprisingly good stats, and he's always had good stats at a lower league. And I think, like Izzy Brown, I hope you agree on that. It's time that we get away with Lewis Baker and the likes.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen them play a lot, so I'm not going to come out and say they should start every game or they should come back or that. But I don't want to go in, but I do think their time is up. Given that we haven't heard a lot of good things, maybe I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I always love it. I want to know. But I just don't see it happening where they come into the team and play. I'm sorry about that.
No, I agree there. Like, definitely we'll have to clear it out, because that's the key, right? We have to clear out the midfield that is basically clogged right now, with preseason starting. And at the moment we do that, the quicker the better for Tuchel, because he'll have to sort out his mind along with the team. And talking about, let's talk about wingers, right? And then Hudson-Odoi is another topic of discussion, just like Loftus-Cheek, and I'm sure we can go for hours together, Tom. But like Hudson-Odoi, for me, like the way Tuchel plays, like, again, don't get me wrong, I feel that he was great at right wing back. I know he has the deficiencies when it comes to defending, but I have voiced it on many channels, and I have to voice it on my own channel for the first time, that Hudson-Odoi, for me, has to be molded into right wing back. Unfortunately, after his injury, he is not as confident as he used to be, taking on defenders the way Jeremy Doku does in today's day and age. And we may as well rely on Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech, who's having a second season, to basically get us those dribbles and crosses than Hudson-Odoi. And Tom, do you agree with the statement that Hudson-Odoi should be kept and played as a wing back rather than loaned out and get minutes?
I definitely don't think he should be loaned out because of the talent he can show. And also, I mean, I think our first friendlies against Arsenal on the 1st of August, I believe. We have Tuchel has a lot of time with all these young players, all these loanies coming back, even before the proper first team players come back from the Euros. So Hudson-Odoi being checked as a right wing back, I can see it happening. It would be, I think that's what Tuchel wants from him. And then even if he does get molded to a more of a right wing back, he can still play as an attacking right winger or a left winger. And it just brings the versatility, which is this modern age of football is all about versatility. Where can you play like 2-3 positions? So having that in his locker will be great, and especially against the worst of teams, where he'll be on the front foot the whole time. I guess slot in Reece James, the right centre back, rest Azpi against the worst of teams, and put an attacking right wing back of Hudson-Odoi there. And also on that as well, I think Tuchel during this period will also be looking at other tactics that's not just five at the back. He will practice four at the back, because there'll be times during this season coming up where five at the back won't work for what we need to do against a certain team that we're playing. So training in different positions and having Hudson-Odoi as a pure out-and-out right wing or left wing will work as well. And trying out these different formations with four at the back, playing a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. I think Hudson-Odoi can fit into so many of those positions, and I don't think you should go on loan.
Yeah, I think that's a great point as well. Like I agree, like I said, right? But Lionel, like one of the players that we are, reported to be going after very strongly after the Euros again, along with Rice in the midfield space, so as to speak, is Adama Traore. Now, I know that Spain did not utilize him and carried him. Probably he used to, help the squad bodybuilding or whatnot. I don't know why he went, but the fact that this guy has a lot of pace. Now, Hudson-Odoi has more skill. Like I still would favor Hudson-Odoi playing on the wing rather than Adama Traore. That's my call. What's yours?
I hope as you were talking, you saw my face, and I'm just like, I don't even understand why on earth Chelsea would go for Traore. I get it, he's quick and he uses a lot of body oil. Fantastic. But I don't understand it. I think there is an issue between Cho and Tuchel. I think maybe at the beginning Tuchel maybe tried to to ask a bit too much of such a young person who may be coming, like you said, coming after an injury, is not as confident, or is not, he's not working as hard as he was before. So there's a lot of things, and you can tell that relationship seems to have, been, there's been an issue. Something's happened where Tuchel has decided, what, I'd rather, let's start off by going for Hakimi, and if we can't do that, look at someone else. I have to agree with Tom. I don't think Cho should go. At the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of Cho. Don't kill me, guys. Because I saw the potential, but I always felt like he was holding back. Like there was just something about his attitude towards the game that was kind of like, oh, I know I'm good, but I can just get away with being okay, in some matches. And I think maybe that's the reason why there's a bit of an issue with Tuchel. But this Traore thing, as you can see, I didn't even talk about Traore because I think it's absolutely absurd that we would go for him. But obviously, if we do, I'll have to back him. I don't want to, but I will have to. And that's just how I feel about Traore. I don't see it for him at Chelsea.
Yes, absolutely. Like obviously, if Chelsea signs him, we'll have to support him, and hopefully he improves. But from what I understand, the panel is definitely to keep Hudson-Odoi, no two ways about it, and give him a chance. And of course, like Lionel said, that maybe the problem is that Hudson-Odoi himself doesn't want to play right wing back, and that might be the issue. And Tuchel is asking much out of him, and hopefully they'll balance it out, in preseason, like with the Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So we are for keeping these two guys, from what I understand. I know Lionel and me had a debate about Barkley being the better choice, but I think Lionel will probably be beaten there by the rest of the Chelsea fans. But yes, most of the others kind of go out on loan, and we'll have to sell the likes of Baker and Drinkwater if we can get a buyer. Otherwise, just let him go. Let him go and swim or whatever he wants to do. That he wants to do. Like I know that he's been enjoying, and let him have a great time. Great player. At his time when he was there, but I think we have a starting three midfield that's good enough. So I think we should get to the final section, guys.
Okay.
Okay, I hope that music did not put you guys to sleep. But yes, just jumping into the predictions quickly because yes, after all, we are still in the Euros, and while we'll come back to Chelsea and transfers on quickly, prediction. Try and wear the neutral hat. I'm warning you there. But what do you think? Like Italy, England. I'm just asking you for score prediction and maybe the scorers as well.
So you want me to keep it simple, and I'll do that. I won't go into the details. But Italy 2, England 1. I hope that's the case. I've underestimated England a lot this time, and I can't see them winning. I mean, there are a lot of there are weaknesses in the Italy team, and England definitely can exploit them. But I just want to back the team that I'm cheering for. Italy 2, England 1. I really hope that's the case.
Okay, I'll take that. And I'm hoping Jorginho to get the winning penalty and the Ballon d'Or is what you're asking for. Because Conte did not get it.
No. As much as I love him, but the Ballon d'Or shout is out of the question. I mean, he's good, but no one is that good. I mean, right now.
Fair point. Definitely. Just for banter there, right? As in Tom. Again. Do you realistically see England winning in normal time?
It's going to be cagey. I know that it's not going to be a big score line. I kind of also am saying that, hoping it will be like a 5-3 or something crazy. But 1-0, I think England. 1-0 England. Harry Maguire header from a corner or something like that. It's
wow.
That's why, or just some brilliant play in the first 10 minutes from England, scoring the goal and then just shutting up shop. Something like that. That's what I'm
okay. I'll take that, and we'll come back to this for sure. Lionel, what do you think? Like penalties, or you're definitely going for Italy, right?
20-0 Italy. No, I just it's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with an Italian win. I think Harry Kane is gonna headbutt one of the Italians in the 68th minute, and that might, but yeah, I'm gonna go with an Italian win. Maybe 2-0, because I think maybe Italy are gonna score the first goal and be strong defensively, and because England are going to have to come out and try and score, they're going to leave gaps at the back, gaps that were there against Denmark at times. If the Danish were just a bit more clinical with their passes, something could have happened. So I think they might look to push and be caught out at the back. So I can't give you scorers, maybe Chiesa, because he's my favorite Italian player. But yeah, I just think that there might be one of those, and it can go both ways, obviously, where England score and then Italy have to come out and then get caught out on the counter with Sancho coming in, or having one of the Sterling or whoever. But so I'm just gonna go with it going the Italian way and Harry Kane headbutting someone.
Oh, that's expected, right? Very much so. But yeah, coming to my predictions, guys, like I personally feel Mason Mount has not had his best yet in the Euros. I know that he didn't play the first couple of games because of obvious reasons, which are not obvious. But anyway, coming back to the game, I feel that Mason Mount looked sharper the last game, and I feel that if he starts, he'll be the difference maker, and I can see him getting that goal for change and Italy to score as well. So I'm going for a 1-1 after extra time, and England going to win on penalties. Yeah, it's going to happen finally. They're going to break the duck, and I think Italy have beaten England, I think 4 times in major tournament, last 4 occasions. Like I think it's probably going to be the record, and hopefully that record will go and England will win. So yeah, as expected, 2 people going for Italy and 2 people going for England. So guys in the chat, comment what do you think?
I will block every word that's like it's coming home blocked, England blocked, because it's gonna be madness on social media if England win this. Prepare yourselves. Tom, please, just
I'm very. I'll I'll probably be a bit too tipsy to be on Twitter anyway, so it's all right. It's all right.
perfect.
Yeah, it's actually too hard to call. Like Bobby said it right? As in, it's definitely one of those games. And as much as we loved Spain's effort, we must shout out Switzerland, of course, Denmark, for Christian Eriksen, what happened. But a great tournament, definitely got the mojo back, in international football for me and for a lot of you all, I'm sure. Guys, I hope you like the stream. I think this is about it for now. But yes, I have to give the platform to my fellow panelists, and it's been a great watch, great discussion. First up, I'll ask on great channel you have made. Definitely talk about it and what we can find there.
First of all, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Tom, Lionel. I really enjoyed meeting you and chatting with you about football. You can find me on YouTube. Let's Talk Ball with Ron. Mostly Chelsea-related stuff. I did a few videos about the Euros, but now the Euros coming to a close, hoping to shift back into the gear for Chelsea. You can also find me on Twitter @BallWithRon. And that's it. You're just going to find a passionate guy talking about football, mostly Chelsea-related stuff. And thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you again. And Tom, definitely the Blue Podcast is welcome anytime on RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. Guys, subscribe to both these channels. And of course, I'll come to Lionel's channels as well. But definitely, these are channels that are upcoming and they bring different kind of content that you should check out. I have updated the descriptions again. Tom, over to you, mate.
You can find us. Well, firstly, actually, thank you very much for having me on. Obviously, we met before a couple of times, and it's nice to finally actually kind of be on your channel and chatting about Chelsea and England, which is good fun. Check us out on the Blue Podcast on YouTube. I'm messing this up somehow. The Blue Podcast on YouTube. We're a group channel. Fortunately for all Chelsea fans, there is a Chelsea fan in every single show we do so far, so that's always nice. But if you want a discussion about football, all football in general, really, and some guests which actually aren't football based. We do that every so often as well. Do check us out on YouTube and at the Blue Podcast 1 on Twitter and at Blue Podcast 1 on Instagram. Thank you very much.
Great stuff there. And coming to you, Lionel, definitely, a seasoned YouTuber again. Thanks for your time and, definitely great banter that we had. And we'll connect again for sure, Lionel, about the predictions that we've made. But I hope your experience was good, and maybe you can talk about your channel as well.
Yeah, this was my first live stream thingy. So it was awesome. I didn't realize how much fun it would actually be, meeting Tom and obviously Ankit also. I seasoned. I wouldn't call myself seasoned. I recently started doing YouTube videos just because of my passion, and I always thought that I'd always disagree with a lot of the Chelsea influencer. I'd be watching their videos and going, I don't agree with that. And then, finally my girlfriend was like, okay, here's a thing, and start talking and stop telling me about it because I don't care. So it's, I mean, thank you so much for having me, guys. You can find me. My channel is Lionel Joel. It's mostly Chelsea videos. I'm also doing a couple of videos on the Euros, and sometimes I like to do react videos to random stuff. I'm going to try and strictly keep it to football now. On Twitter, I am Lionel Joel 13 or something, and and on Instagram it's Lionel YouTube. So I don't know anything, but find me. It's I'm sure Ankit will put it somewhere and you guys can find me. I love having discussions. I'm usually wrong most of the time, so I'm done. Cool. Thank you.
Good stuff there. Definitely top stuff, guys. And guys in the chat, put in your predictions as well. I see a prediction from Abhi there, but definitely we will come back to the predictions and we will do a post-prediction stream, after the finals. So let's see how it goes. I know On and me, have been doing a lot of predictions over the streams, and I'll come to Lionel's and as well as Tom's predictions, and we should, definitely work things out in our time zones and come together again, right?
But Tom is either going to be too drunk and jumping all over somewhere, or he's going to be too sad and be like, you know what, I don't want to talk to anyone. And too drunk. So
I'll be too drunk either way. I'll be drinking my sorrows away. I'll be drinking in happiness.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Okay, good stuff there, guys. And yes, till next time, take care, everyone, and all the best to England and to Italy, and may the best team win. And of course, Chelsea. Hopefully, we make a decent transfer and our predictions come right. Till then, take care and have a good one.
Bye.
See you guys.